hicho kilikuwa cha coaches lakini ametukata. Watuone kama anaweza piga African moves, but amesema I was maker. Ndani ya Radio Jambo kama vile tulikuahidi, kigonga saa 6 tutakuwa naye kocha wa Harambee Stars Migne ambaye tuko naye sasa hivi ndani ya nyumba. Wananiita Mzee Toldo.
Kusimba Diamond mwana wa pasta. Mimi kawaida ni Arocho.
Yes.
Yes.
Niko naye coaches. Coaches, welcome to Radio Jambo again.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to be there. Unfortunately, my Swahili is not enough good. It will be in English. Or maybe in French.
Some French will be good.
In French.
If you want.
I know a few words in French like la tête, header.
Yeah.
La tête.
Judging by your look, I know everything is good.
Okay, yeah.
You have been paid, I believe so. There was a time you were complaining about salary, arrears, and what have you. I hope they have cleared.
It's not because I have no complaint about it. I paid. No. It's always a problem in Kenya since I arrived here. But actually, I prefer to be focused about my team and the preparation about AFCON after we regularize this kind of problem.
Coach, comment ça va?
Bien.
Ça va bien?
Merci.
Higher. Now, I'll go straight into it, Coach. Issues have been about the lineup. And I know you came prepared about the lineup. And there's one name that's always come up. And I remember one day I asked you this, and I'd like you also to tell Kenyans about Jeseweri. Yeah. I don't know what has informed your decision, because when you went to Ghana, and I saw Were was not there, I knew Were was not going to there. That is my own thesis. Coach, perhaps can you explain to Kenyans why Were has never fitted in your team?
Or is it personal?
Oh, honestly, I'm a little bit tired to talk about Were, because even for him it's not good at all. I think if you follow, and I know you follow the training, for example, he was there when Were was there. He didn't show me enough on the field. I have nothing against him. It's a fantastic boy. He has a good behavior, but on the field, I want to see more. You know, it's important. And I just read an interview from Amouche, the former national coach, and 5 years ago he told the same about what I think about GC. You know, it's just a technical decision, not human decision, technical decision. And honestly, today I think I have a better player than him to give something for the team, interesting for the team. For me, in my philosophy, when you can follow the high level, an example as Suarez, for example, from Barcelona, the first defender of Barcelona is Suarez. And I try to develop the same in my team. Unfortunately, it's not the best quality for GC. Of course, he scores some goals in Zambian league. Okay, we can discuss about the quality of the league also. And today, I prefer maybe to give my confidence for a young player like Avire, for example.
Okay.
It would be interesting for him to learn. And also, you know, you need to think about the harmony of the group. We will stay at least 3 weeks during the preparation, and I hope a long time during the competition between men. Okay, and sometimes it's difficult. If I bring GC to stay on the bench, maybe he will not be happy, and I need a positive wave around the team.
The
you know,
okay.
and it's so important.
So, Coach, from what I've heard from your explanation of why Jesse is not in your team, I think what you're trying to tell Kenyans is that at the African Cup of Nations, we're going to see a Harambee Stars which is going to be strong in recovering the ball.
Yes,
Because,
of course.
So I don't expect, or Kenyans don't expect us to be overwhelmed in possession, because you're saying that your defense starts with the striker.
And you know, we will play Algeria and Senegal, and I cannot say today we will have a possession. You know, we will find a good organization. I hope so, to find a solution to create some trouble for this opponent. But But in terms of possession, forget it against this team. It will be different against Tanzania. And also, you know, JC, unfortunately, doesn't represent the future for Harambee Stars. We need to be serious. He has already 30 years old, you know, and if it was a so fantastic player with Harambee Stars, everybody knew that, you know.
So, just one question before we go shoulder. So, according to what I'm hearing from you is that Alan Wanga is purely there because of his fantastic form and his experience in national team, because he's also advanced in years, but from what you're saying is that he has a quality that you need.
I have another answer. If we compare, for example, JC, 26 call-up, 0 goal. Alan Wanga, 22 goals in national team. You know, there's a big difference, and he realized a very good season. I don't know if he will be in my final list, but at least he will participate for the final squad, provisional squad for Sham also. And we will see, depends on also what I can see this afternoon, tomorrow, and next week during the league. And after I will choose definitely the final 26 players.
Okay.
Here comes another question. I think you have had enough about it. It's about goalkeepers. The criteria of choosing goalkeepers. Have two goalkeepers from one team, and you know they don't play both at the same time.
But I explain also the young Bouire will stay at home. He will be there if we have a problem. But you know, we have two goalkeepers, Matassi and Farouk. There is no discussion about the selection. And after the third one, you know, he has a specific position in a group. He has to be ready to help the striker if there is an extra work after the training session, and it's necessary to be every time happy to do that, to have a good harmony with the two other goalkeepers. And I know I have some answer with Oyemba today. I know the harmony between the three goalkeepers is perfect. The harmony of work every time on the field is interesting, and he developed also some positive attitude. That means today it's the priority for this tournament. After that, I will see. I will follow Saruni, but you know, it's 50-50. Huh?
Coach,
but today I have more answer with Oyemba.
Coach, just
and just for Guire, also is the goalkeeper of Olympic team. You know, it's in my job also I have to think about the future.
Okay.
And we talk about only the third goalkeeper.
Coach, just sticking on the keepers, I still have an issue because history normally helps us to project what is expected. The last time, I think the last two editions that we went for the Africa Cup of Nations, I remember there's a time we went for training to Brazil. We had a keeper known as David Ochieng. At that time, he was the #1 goalkeeper, and then we had his reserve known as Washington Mwanji. Now, when we went to the tournament, the first keeper did not feature in the first two matches, and we were forced to play the second keeper, who unfortunately didn't have experience, and it was disastrous. Now, fast forward on Batasi and Shikalo. Personally, I think that the experience that Matasi has is good, but there's a problem about the experience we have with Shikalo, because Shikalo has not really featured prominently in the first team, in the national team. Many were wondering, why couldn't we even perhaps have another experienced keeper? Because in any case we have an injury, then we are messed up the way we were messed up in 98.
But tell me who? Tell me who?
Oh, Boniface Watch.
No. Did you follow all the game this season?
Yes, he was down. Yes.
That means he was
down.
A fantastic goalkeeper, but for this season it was too complicated for him.
Yes.
And to have a good performance consistently, you know.
Okay.
And I think it's not necessary to be afraid and to put an inexperienced player or youth player. I prove that when we play against Ghana, for example, when I was not afraid to put Overa in the first 11, in my first 11. It was the same with Joash. At this time,
Yes.
nobody believed
In Joash.
he was ready, and it was possible to play with Joash in national team. Today, when I put Mandela and I let Joash on the bench, everybody is surprised, you know, is under crisis. That's mean, don't worry about it. Effectively, today, we don't have a lot of possibility for this position. It's a huge problem for Kenya. Even Matasi, I was not happy after the last game against Ghana.
Yes.
But we have no choice. We continue to work, and we will try to improve his position. And don't be surprised for the first day, the second day, the third day during the camp. One Kenyan goalkeeper from Germany will come during 3 days, not for the tournament. It will be
Come again, coach. We are
Joel.
expecting.
His name is Joel Deeper, and he will be there. It will be a good opportunity for me to discover him, to see him. He's under 21. He didn't have team this season, but he was a former youth professional player, and I want to see him, to discover him for the future, and maybe he can compete after the competition, because now there is some role also in my team, and we'll continue with this group for this tournament. You know, they qualify Kenya for the first time since 15 years, and I cannot release today one player, you know.
Okay.
I want to keep the same harmony.
Just on the discovery, there's a player you've discovered, Christopher Mbampa.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions. Where did you see Mbampa? How come he's brought into the team? Because he wants to play in Ghana, unfortunately, because his papers are not ready.
Yes.
But the question is, where did you see him? Do you know his work rate? Do you know his physical levels, the physical fitness levels at the moment?
The priority for him was to find a club, because he was the end of the season in Sweden was during the winter, and during a few months
So he was unattached.
he was unattached, and it was a priority. He found the club. He scored last weekend, and he's a former player for youth national team in Sweden, and it's not nothing. And otherwise, he showed us, for my staff and me, his quality during the last camp, and it was important to discover him during camp. Or he was accepted also by his teammates, and it was perfect in terms of harmony, and he showed some quality. I don't know the same for him if he will be in the last 23, but I think he will be in France in the last 26. And after, he has to show me during 3 weeks.
Still on selection, do you have someone who assists you to select these players, or you do it alone? And again, do you have interference from federation, especially the president of federation? Does he instruct to select some players?
We have a lot of connection. You know, some manager contact the federation every week. Otherwise, since we are qualified, we discover a lot of Kenyan players now. But what it was interesting with Bamba, for example, I contact other dual citizen players, and he was the first good one to accept to come without discussion, you know. And it was important for me, and also to send a message. For example, one player, I don't want to tell you the name, but he refused to come because the priority was for his team. And now we are qualified. It's okay to come. But my friend, you will wait for the next competition, but for this one, it's finished for you. It's the life of football, and there is some priority. But after, don't worry, I'm alone to decide. For example, it was funny because this week I had a discussion with my president, the former president of Sharks, and I told him, excuse me, because everybody talk about the fact I have 2 goalkeepers from your team, but it's not my fault if goalkeeper, the best young goalkeeper, is also in Sharks, you know. And I told him, I know everybody shout about you, but I'm sorry for that. He told me that it's completely crazy because before you arrive in the country, I had 6, 7 players in the team. Now I have no players in the team except the 2 goalkeepers, and everybody talk about it, and we laugh about it. But no, I'm alone to decide. Of course, I have some discussion with my staff, with Kimanzi, with Nicolas, sometimes with Kofi concerning the goalkeepers, and after finally. I'm alone to decide. I have no pressure for that. And if one day, listen to me, if one day one minister or one president oblige me to take someone, he can book a flight ticket for me and I will be back.
You said even the president of the country has never called you.
No, unfortunately, not yet. But maybe tomorrow.
What about the deputy president? I realize that you have some very good rapport with him. Have you ever talked other than the times I've seen you with him in the stadium?
Since a long time. The last time it was after the victory against Ethiopia, but you have a lot of friends after the victory.
Don't worry. After this show,
after
they will call you.
After defeats, it's more complicated. I know perfectly the job, but I'm not under pressure for that.
So, Coach, just to relieve you of some pressure, we're not trying to tell you that this country is a very, very successful country in terms of football. In fact, if we talk about African football, we have only ever won one game in the African Nations Cup.
Without stake.
Yes, a third match. So
we need to be sharp.
So you know about the history. So what do we expect from Migne in this African Cup of Nations? What is it there that you're going to give Kenyans?
My dream will be to write the new story of the Kenyan football and with an official victory, and to try to be qualified in the last best 16 team in Africa. I don't know if it will be possible. I think it's possible, but I don't know if we achieve it, but it will be fantastic. We will be in advance, because when I arrived, I told to the president during the agreement we are together, we need time to build something. And now, because we are qualified in advance, because it was at the beginning the project 2021, everybody want realize something, and but so quickly.
So Coach, we are way ahead of your plan. We are way ahead of your plan. You are not planning to even be in this African Cup of Nations. Was it in your plan when you were talking to the president while you were mapping out? When
you are in a competition, every time is to try to give your best, and the best thing would be to be qualified. We will not visit Egypt like a tourist.
We are not going to be tourists.
Maybe you. Not me. And unfortunately, it will not be possible. I have too much respect for your country and for the fans and for my players. And I can tell you, my players have a lot of motivation. Victor called me yesterday.
Yes.
We had a discussion, because you know he will play the final of Champions League, and some teammate from Europe asked me, coach, we can arrive only the second for the camp in France because we have a final with Victor. I told them, forget it. I called Victor. Victor, stop to give invitation for everybody. I want all the players, the 31 in the camp, and we will organize something to follow your game, to watch your game in TV, to have a small party after your victory, and I let you free 2 days after, and after you will be back and to lead the team for something fantastic. But no, all the players, it's a joke, but all the players have a lot of motivation. They know it's a fantastic opportunity for them since 15 years without this kind of competition, and we don't know about the future.
Yes. Coach, what is your relationship with, as far as your captain is concerned? There were times that guys were feeling that you guys were not in the same page. And two, what is your assessment of Victor in the last 8 or so matches? Because there are several matches that guys have really been on his case as far as his performance, more so in the Champions League.
There is no discussion. Today we have only one real Kenyan, because we have Origi also, but only one real Kenyan.
Coach, that's also another Kenyan, coach.
Able to play one final in Champions League. The answer is there. There is no discussion about his quality. Of course, he can commit some mistake during the games, but when you play a semi-final, you can commit some mistake. Okay.
So you're with us that our captain is ready.
No, but I'm critic with him sometimes, because every time I want the best for my players, and to be able for them to repeat the high level of performance. It's never enough. Even if one day we will win Africa Cup of Nations.
Amen, coach. Amen.
It will not be enough
Amen.
for me. I will find some mistake and some sector where we can improve something. You know, it's the same with Victor, but it's a fantastic leader. I remember, because I push him and I shout against him after our victory against Ghana with our team, but it was a willingness, my willingness also to put pressure on him. And when he arrived before Ethiopia, I can tell you he was more than a good relay for me, you know, and for the team. Of course, he had some problem during the season, some injuries, but he will be okay for AFCON.
Out of curiosity, coach, why are you camping in France? And we have very different weathers comparing France and Egypt.
Yes. Yeah. Is it because perhaps you come from
will this affect our performance in Egypt in any way?
I want to have a good holidays in France.
Motherland.
You think so? No. More seriously, with humility, I can tell you I have some experience for this competition. I already did 3 Africa Cup of Nations and 2 champs. And at this time, during the camp, during 3 weeks, we need to work hard with sometimes 3 training sessions per day, sometimes 2. And unfortunately, at this period of the season, in Gulf, in Morocco, in Egypt, it's too warm. You cannot work 3 days outside on the field. It's not possible at all. And during this period in Arabic country, it's the period also of Ramadan. You know, it's not simple at all to work during the day. And I know perfectly the place in France, but it could be in Holland, in England, for example, in terms of weather. What is important for me? The quality of the tool. Of the main tool is the field. You know, I know for this place in Marcoussis we have a superb quality of the field. We have a beautiful swimming pool inside. You know, it's important for the therapy for the osteopath in terms of recovering session. And I know perfectly the place. It was also easier to find opponent for friendly games. That's mean for me it was a good place, and honestly I'm very proud to bring my team Kenya in France.
So it's almost going to be summer. I think it's going to be summer. So how is the weather in France at this time when we're going to be the national team there?
It will be a good weather, but not so warm.
Not so warm.
It's more important for me. And we will travel in Egypt 5 days before the competition.
Okay.
And we will play in Egypt, don't forget it, during the evening. It will be not so warm. It's so important. And you cannot add fatigue on fatigue, you know. You have to be fresh during this competition. It's so important.
Okay. Haya, ndio hiyo umeipata kutoka kwetu, maswali machache ambayo ulikuwa umeweza kuuliza. Sasa nakuja moja kwa moja mpaka kwako kwa njia ya simu, pia uweze kumuuliza coaches maswali kwa 0204445975. Kumbuka ndio station pekee yake inahusu michezo, ndio inatambua michezo, wengine waigizaji tu.
Jioni katika Mbuzi na Lion
alikuwa analeta utata kuhusu Jesse Were, kuhusu magolikipa, kuhusu mambo mengi tumeongea, na wewe pia anaweza kupatia fursa ya kuweza kuongea, lakini tulikuwa tunaongea hapa hivi na coaches, na pengine ningetaka niulize, it's about that player was asking you of the mic about Linton Mine or something. Have you tried to approach him?
Yes,
for
a few months ago. But I told you, the only one gave me a positive answer without negotiation at all. It was Bamba, you know. And now the door is closed until AFCON, and we will see after this tournament. But I want to see the willingness of a player to join us.
What do you mean negotiations? Before we pick the calls, what do you mean without negotiations? There were people who were trying to bargain?
For me, there is no negotiation. If you must come for a camp with national team, you have to come on time, you know, from the beginning of the camp, and with full motivation. And it's not a trial, you know. You cannot come just to see if the country is nice, if we have a good staff. No, there is some. We show some things, and we are on the way to build something. Today, I'm not afraid to tell you we have maybe one of the best medical departments around the team in Africa. We have a good accommodation now when we travel. So everybody now told me, he's lucky now and we need to win because we have it. But it's the minimum to exist, to survive at this level. It's a base, it's a reality, you know. And I don't want to talk about private plane. I don't want to talk about the salary for the coach. I don't want to in terms of motivation, you know, it's important.
Yeah.
But just the base to exist at this level. It's so important. And now we are on the way. The president helped me, understood also it was important. And that means there is no negotiation for the future dual citizen. If they have to come, they have to show in their club their quality. And after that, to be happy to be there.
Okay. Nishike simu mara hiyo 0204445975. Otieno. Hayupo. Sam Otieno kutoka Uyugis. Vipi?
Salama sana, wako namna gani?
Chap tuende kwa maswali.
Okay, I would like to ask Coach Sebastien Migne. What is his confidence in our most lethal striker Michael Olunga and his assessment, and how sure he will get more goals through that?
Okay. Shikilia hapo utajibiwa later. Don't pink. Hey, okay.
Umejipatia jina ya Kifaransa.
Hey. King kutoka South B.
Jambo, Todo.
Yes.
Je m'appelle Monsieur King Manuel.
Tuko sawa.
I have a question for the coach. Coach, are you there?
Yeah, of course.
I remember we met during the game in Kasarani for Gor Mahia, and I asked you one question. Why doesn't Haron Shakaba feature in any of your lineup? He is not in the CHAN squad. He is not in the national team going to Egypt. Yet he's the Gor Mahia captain. He's the mainstay. You've chosen 7 players from Gor Mahia. We thank you very much. But Haron Shakaba, anywhere. Is there any problem specifically with the player attitude or whatever? We as Gor Mahia fans in South B want to know that. Thank you.
Okay, shikilia hapo hapo. Douglas kutoka Jogoo Road.
Mjambo.
Tuko fiti.
My greetings to our coach. No, he has given the explanation, but I'm not satisfied with the picking of two goalkeepers from Sharks. So it means that the other teams, they are not able to use the best goalkeepers. So another thing, I want them to clarify well to the Kenyans as to why, because we have, they say we have a goalkeeper from Gor Mahia, we have a goalkeeper from KCB, that's an example. Now when he takes two goalkeepers from the same club and it is number 1 and number 2, and normally goalkeeper number one and number 2, they are not taking the places when they are playing at once. So it seems it's wrong.
Okay, sawa. Utajibiwa. Emmanuel kutoka kwa Ruben. Yes, chap mtu wangu, tuende kwa maswali straight.
Vipi?
Fiti.
Mimi nimekubaliana mambo yako mjeni. Huyo goli na Wafransa kwa tofauti.
Nawa?
Huyo goli wetu na kwa Wafransa kwa tofauti.
Kutoka France unajua alichukua World Cup.
Wewe hakuna vile unaweza chukua hata Mwanga. Unaweka jeni wewe my friend. Hiyo ni kama kuchukua Jerudi wewe Benzema.
Ana Mwanga ndio mfungaji bora wa ligi ya Kenya.
Ole Soldo kutoka Kiserian.
Okay, nawashukuru. Hamjambo.
Tuko salama.
Karibu sana Ole Soldo.
Shukuru jamaa ameongea mbele yako kwa ni makosa kumchukua Ana Nwanga na Ana Nwanga atikasirike mali lipo, lakini
Yes.
yeye tulimwandika kaje najua. Hata tunajua nitakumuuliza. Imekuwa ni mazoea katika kama taifa kuingia akapi kama medio tunafurahia, lakini tunatolewa raundi ya kwanza.
Endelea Ole Soldo.
Sasa wewe muulize na hiki unajua mimi ni Mswahili. Muulize na mbona hii itakuwaje, kwa sababu imekuwa ni mazoea kiingia Afrika Nation. Hata ilikuwa afadhali wakati kuwa na Muleki ilishinda mechi moja. Imekuwa kiingia tunangolewa katika raundi ya kwanza.
Haya, asante Saul kutoka Kawangware. Swali chap mtu wangu, time inanikimbiza. About the goalkeeping. Apart from Matasi. Okay, Nicholas kutoka CBD. Yes, sema haraka, chap. He's fine.
Endelea.
What do you think about this? I'll take you back to the lineup. What about what could you just give us another second goalkeeper with experience? Instead of taking two goalkeepers who have no any experience.
Okay, asante sana Shadi kutoka Kitengela.
Yes.
Jambo Kenya.
Shikilia tu hapo swali lako.
Mimi nilikuwa nataka kuuliza hata kama taenda kando kidogo na mjadala nilikuwa upande wa Manchester. Nilikuwa nimepiga simu.
Utanisame mtu wangu, sasa hivi sio masaa ya mambo ya Manchester.
Hiyo ni double red card.
Swali wajibiwa sasa hivi. Coaches hapa, mimi naitwa Mzee Toldo. Umeuliza maswali? Excuse me. Coaches, Oksimba.
So, coach, there are questions here, but I'll just fashion them out because most of them are going towards the same thing. Because there are 3 questions that go like this. Someone said he's not satisfied with the picking of 2 goalkeepers from the same team. He said it seems wrong. Another one had this sentiments. He said, apart from Matasi, he didn't see any backup in your lineup in terms of goalkeeping. And then another one said, why not choose a second goalkeeper with experience? So it's around the goalkeeping. That first question is around the goalkeeping.
I already told you, it's a problem today for Kenya. We don't have a lot of choice in his position to find a good goalkeeper, a good one, I told you.
Yes.
A good one with experience, with a high level of performance during the last season. Honestly, it was difficult. That's mean.
What about Ian in Zambia? Ian Otieno?
Yeah, he already came for one camp. we had a problem of attitude. with
Wrong
him.
attitude.
Not so good, and he didn't show also he was better than Farouk, for example. After, it's just a question of choice. Today we need to improve the level for this position, to have a reserve, enough reserve, if we have a problem with Matassi. But it's an eternal request, you know. 1 year ago, when I put Oliosh for my first game, everybody asked me why Matassi is not in the goal. And tomorrow it will be, today is for Saoni, and tomorrow it will be for another one. I'm not a fan. I'm just the head national coach of Harambee Stars.
Okay. Next question. Why someone said he's called a Gormaya fan who says he talked to you at Kasarani and comes from South Bay branch of Gormaya. He said, why Shakava isn't featured in both squads, the Chan squad and AFCON squad? He wants you to explain why the captain of Gormaya, the winning team, is not in the Chan squad of the African Cup.
If I miss humility, I can tell you we had the best defense during the qualifier phase with a lot of clean sheet. Why discuss about the different players in my defense, you know? And if Shakava is there today, what about Joash, you know? I cannot react like a fan and to give pleasure for everybody. I have to make some choice.
Tough
And
choices.
to try to do the best, to practice the best choice for Harambee Stars. It was not so bad during the qualifier, but it was before.
Before I
Now
ask
we
you
need to think about the future. It's an eternal restart, and we need to think about
future.
the future, the fitness, and always the player has an answer. Maybe Shakawa didn't show us. He can be in my first 11, for example, until now.
Okay, the penultimate question. One, Emmanuel or Ruben, he comes from Ruben, a place called Ruben, said he's not happy with you because you remind him of the French coach who took Giroud to the World Cup and dropped Benzema. That is what he said. In you taking Vanga in your squad right now and dropping Were, it's like the French coach who went to the World Cup without Benzema and picked Olivier Giroud.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I think it was a bad choice because we won the World Cup, you know. And I talk about, it was an example with Benzema, but it was Rabiot from Paris Saint-Germain, it was Valbuena, it was the same for Ben Arfa, you know, with a lot of talented players, but the more important is to try for a coach to build a consistent group, you know, team, and you don't play for this kind of competition with only 11 players, with 23.
Okay.
You know.
Last question. There's a guy who asked, and it was the first question we received. Do you have confidence in our top striker, Olunga, and how much confidence do you have in him?
Of course. I think the past show us he was the best striker in the country. He scored a lot of goals under the jersey of national team. It's a reality. And unfortunately, he didn't play during 15 days with his club. He was substitute. Also, he need to repeat the good performance if he want to play at a very high level, because he has the potential for that. But unfortunately, until now, he didn't show he can compete at a very high level as Wanyama, for example. And it's a way to work with him for that, but today it's the leader of our attack. There is no discussion on it.
Coach, we are moving into the AFCON 14, 15 years after our last edition. What will you tell Kenyans? Are we still going to be knocked out in the group stages? What is your projection? And perhaps just give us your overview feeling of Algeria, Tanzania, and ultimately the last match against Senegal. Just give us what you expect in the 3 matches. And if in any case, this time round, you're going to move out of the group stages.
We have two different objectives with the team. It will be the subject of the first meeting with the players during the camp. The first one is the qualification for the knockout stage. There is no discussion about it, and there is a new regulation and a new possibility with the best 4 placed in the 3rd position, during the group. And the second one is about Kenya's image. We need to send something positive around the national team and to show and maybe to surprise the continent about the quality of our game, and to show we are back, maybe in the best, I hope so.
Yes, Africa.
16, at least 16 teams in Africa. It's so important. And after that, obviously, it will not be easy. When you have Algeria, the first team in Africa, actually is Senegal. It's not. It will not be easy, but it was the same before the game against Ghana. We need to be positive, and when you have the possibility to play against this kind of team, that means you play at the high level, and that means we need to play under pressure, but it will be a positive pressure because it's so important. I prefer honestly to play Senegal and Algeria than to play a friendly games during the same period against Lesotho or Malawi. And I have to respect this team, but just to give you an example, we are lucky to be there between the best team in Africa. We will try to compete well, and after we have a fantastic derby against Tanzania. Maybe it's 50-50, but we will try to have a victory at the end.
Coach, just because of time,
I
we are running.
want the Kenyans proud about our
the team. Because of time, first of all, the 2 friendlies that we're having, one of the teams had issues. It's like they were not really aware of that friendly. So give us the 2 friendlies we're playing before we go for the AFCON. But once again, Coach, please, for the sake of our fans, give us some projection. Algeria, are we likely to pick a win, a draw? Tanzania, how you're looking at it? And then ultimately, Senegal, Coach. Give us some hope, Coach.
Of course, but
yes,
every time where we enter on the field with my team is to try to win.
So 9 points, Coach.
But I have the same behavior since a long time with Congo, for example. When we were in 2015, we achieved quarter-final. It was with Congo Brazza, not DR Congo.
Yes.
And we finished first in the group, and it was unbelievable, and we achieved quarter-final. That means Algeria, Senegal didn't already beat us, we have some hope, but we need to be realistic also, to be humble. We have not the better individualities than them. It's a reality. I would be a liar to tell you the contrary. But we will try to build the best group, the best team, to compete well against them and maybe to beat them.
Because just to be mean on you, you've said that we are going for the second round. We have 3 matches to go to the second round. We have to win. Where do you see a win in the 3 matches?
Unfortunately, I cannot play. I can just to prepare well my player, to motivate well my player, and to be there if they need me, and to try to do everything because I don't want to have one regret, after the game. But we will try our best. After it's the reality of football, you can win, you can lose. You never lose. You win or you learn.
Any team that has approached you, Coach, because you're going for any other approach that you've got from any other team?
Yes, but I cannot speak about the team.
I knew you'd say that.
It will be to make a gift for my opponent coaches,
Thank you, Coach, for your time. Wish you the best.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bon voyage as you head to...
Au revoir, Coach. Bienvenue, Coach.